They are the beating heart of the English game, a long way away from the glamour and wealth of the Premier League. But for lower league clubs like Leyton Orient in East London, COVID-19 has been catastrophic. The ban on fans has meant their main source of income, gate receipts, has disappeared, leaving many on the brink.
We've tried to do what we can ourselves. We now need help from government, help from the football authorities, and there's some really good ideas out there that I think will come to fruition. COVID has clearly been a major crisis for football, but football had a problem before that of getting to sustainability. And I think if we can solve both problems together, that will be an excellent result for the future of English football.
Orient, which plays in League Two, estimate it may lose $4 million this year if the club can't welcome supporters for the rest of the season. And its chairman believes the UK government has forgotten about football's contribution to local communities.
It's the biggest asset the community has in terms of attraction. We reach out to schools, we do community events, we've done events for prisoners, disabled people, and we're no different from any other club. Football clubs give back a lot, and they are the central part of a community.
The UK government has not offered any targeted financial support for struggling football clubs, instead calling upon the Premier League to support their lower league neighbours. But top flight clubs are battling losses of their own, and so far a deal has not been agreed. Many lower league clubs were losing significant money pre-pandemic, a point the Premier League has been making in defence of its reluctance to fund a general bailout. But the sustainability of English football's financial model has long been up for debate, and the current crisis may bring about some positive change.
COVID is what I like to call just Franz Ferdinand. It's just accelerated it. It will probably bring forward by 5 years what was inevitable anyway. All of us love our sport tradition. Sport is all about that. Let's stop holding on to the coattails of the Hollywood clubs and let's start marketing it properly.
Like many star footballers, former England defender Stuart Pearce got his start in non-league football, and he's adamant authorities need to come up with solutions to protect the smaller clubs.
The top clubs have got a duty of care really to look after the lower clubs, and I personally would like to see football as a football family make the right and proper decisions. We need to make sure that the next generation of young players have got somewhere to go and play their football. It's all about the whole pyramid system being in a healthy situation.
Communication between the various governing bodies has stepped up in recent days, and the English Football League is confident a final agreement can be reached soon. But with 10 clubs predicting they may not make payroll this month, time is running out. Oliver Regan, TRT World, London.
Well, joining me now from Manchester is Kieran Maguire. He's a sports finance specialist from the University of Liverpool. Good to have you on the program with us. How critical is it for these clubs to have fans? Of course, many of them are still playing, but there's no one in the audience, because it's not just about people cheering for the players. It is about financial stability, correct?
Very much so. If we take a look at the lower leagues of English football, the clubs in the two lowest divisions are generating 40 to 50% of their revenue from ticket sales. They're also heavily dependent upon sponsors, and those sponsors will normally be local businesses. Now, if you are a local business, you're not going to give money to a football club to advertise a product if the matches are taking place with no viewing audience. So we are now reaching a tipping point that money has been advanced in respect of money due from broadcasting deals for the present season. And now the senior football authorities in the form of the Premier League have made an offer of around about $65 million to the two bottom divisions. But unfortunately, some of that's in the form of loans and some of that's in the form of grants. I think if it was always in the form of grants, then that would give those clubs sufficient leeway to see themselves cope with the next 3 to 4 months, where hopefully some form of return to football before a paying audience would take place.
So do you think that will be enough then? Because even if fans are able to come back in 3 or 4 months' time, many of these clubs were struggling before the pandemic.
Well, the reason why they were struggling before the pandemic was poor cost control. Salaries were being negotiated on contracts which were either too long or too expensive. Clubs were at times negotiating deals on the hope and the prospect of being promoted, but only 3 or 4 teams can get promoted from a division each year. And if that isn't achieved, it means that the club had financial commitments which weren't being matched to the revenue that they were generating. So we'll have to wait and see. It's up to owners to simply turn around and say no to players and their agents and their managers if they want to have a long-term sustainable future.
Worst case scenario, if some of these clubs have to shut, what would it mean for the communities that they're in? Because, you know, we could see a ripple effect here, because it's not just about playing games, but the players themselves, you know, coming out into the community and taking part in the community.
Well, clubs provide here in England that they do provide a sense of identity for local towns and cities. They provide a focal point for community activities, and they also have a huge impact upon the local infrastructure, the local supply chains as well. I was looking at a report today that was showing that local restaurants and alcohol serving establishments, they were generating 300% more income on football match days compared to other days of the week, such as their importance as part of a football match is more than attending for 90 minutes. People meet up, they eat before and afterwards, they drink and they collaborate. The local transport authorities sell more tickets as well. So all of this is a huge impact upon local infrastructures. And if that goes away, then it's not just the people at the football club, the players themselves, the back office staff, but local businesses will suffer in addition.
So what are some of the options? I mean, obviously, you know, grants from the Premier League, but let's say that's not enough. Is there something that local communities can do to offer better support to these clubs?
Well, we could see more involvement from local government. We could see more involvement from local companies. If they realise the importance of the local football club, then perhaps we will see owners come together from 2 or 3 businesses and take over clubs. We've seen in the likes of a small Lancashire town called Accrington, the local box manufacturer, he spotted that staff were happier on a Monday if the local football team had won on the previous Saturday. So he went out and bought the football club to try to give it sustainability and a long time ability to trade and grow.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Kieran Maguire, thank you so much.